Everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Bozmos2, where we are playing Chaco. It's turn 61. Let's jump into things. Okay, we've received 20 death gems from Arithia. I don't think I talked about this last turn, but we just did a little trade of 10 astral and 10 water for some death gems, just to give us a little bit of a bank so we can play around with maybe... I don't know, we don't really have any great ideas, but I've got 3 Dark Knowledge casters, and I've only got 6 income, so we're gonna use that as a little bit of a base to hopefully get some more Dark Knowledge completed throughout our empire, and I don't know, then we'll see what our death income is and go from there. We completed Alteration 6. Yeah, completed Alteration 6. We did Dark Knowledge, found nothing. Augury found nothing. We did some Naiad Warriors. Auspex found nothing. Augury found a Smolder Stone. This is a +1 Fire Gem site. Auspex found a nothing. Voice of Apsu found Dripping Caverns. I think we're both in the same places. Yeah, +1 Fire Gem and then +1 Water Gem. But also this is actually kind of interesting. The recruitment of Great Ohms. So this could kind of be cool to get into if we have the option. So like, I don't know. I'm not sure that Great Ohms are a great investment later on in the game, but it would be interesting to roll up with like 50 of these guys on someone eventually, right? They do a Mind Blast. They have 10 ammunition. That's kind of cool. They are sacred, so they do take our bless. I don't think our bless is super amazing on them necessarily, but you know, it's not bad. Giving them temper flesh, giving them regeneration, they have a life drain already, right? They've got decent HP, so I mean, it's cool, right? Not the end all be all, but cool. I think that's the last one that we find anything off of though. We witness a battle between Atlantis and Ermor. Watch this. Okay. So, Atlantis comes in with a bunch of Banshees against a small group of Ermorian undead. Basically, just had them cloud trapeze in, and now they're summoning air elementals. I should really consider snagging the, actually recruiting some of the Banshees that I have access to. They get mist forms off just before these long dead horsemen come into range, which is very important, because otherwise, Banshees are not stout. See, the air elementals are kind of doing work, killing everything in the background. The Banshees start, you know, using like lightning bolt and forked lightning and stuff like that, and this is pretty easy for them to clean up. It was a little dicey there for a second when the cavalry was in their face, but afterwards, not a big deal. New proclamation from Raga, Nightworm the Bane, new relay again, of course, and then Tartary. Interesting. We've got, let's watch this other one. We've got a Ermor battle versus Atlantis that we witnessed. Okay, so this is, again, another little Ermorian undead army versus, and this is kind of cool, a little group of lizard warriors. There are more Banshees here, but there are also some lizard shamans here, and they communion up. Very small, I say very small, it's a 4-person communion with a single master. And he's got some gems. What's he gonna do? Alright, well, he does mass protection. Cool. So everyone now has 10 base armor. That's actually pretty good for the long dead that he has. It's helpful for these lizard warriors. Ooh, loses a shaman. to the cavalry. Ooh, and then the cav just get obliterated with a shockwave. Damn. Okay. Got some air elementals in the back here. Doing some work. Yeah. This little force. I mean... sorry, I got a thing in my throat. The force from Ermor is it's just a little undead raiding party, right? So almost anything that is relatively stout that Atlantis throws at it is gonna win. So still lost 2 of the lizard shamans. So that's unfortunate. But overall, you know, killed a bunch of individuals. Still, again, right? This is Ermor. Ermor has thousands and thousands of units. That, not to say that, you know, losses like this don't matter, but thousands of units of free spawn, or 150 units of free spawn versus 2 lizard shamans. It's okay. Alright, we've got a bunch of battles. Let's see what's up. We got a battle in Pistinia. That up anymore? So this is just up against a very small contingent of King Gob. Get our full buff cycle off. And... whoop, yep. Stabby, stabby. Pretty easy. Nobody gets out alive. Yep. Nice. Okay. Kill everyone in Pistinia. And now we're sieging Pistinia. I'm gonna skip Blue Moss because that's the biggest one. We've got a battle in Lorboro. Okay, this is Monkatsina versus actually quite a bit of Kangobs, but again, it doesn't really matter, right? The Kangobs don't matter. What matters are the shamans, right? And this particular batch is a bunch of fire shamans. So let's see what they get up to. Eagle Eyes. Ah, dangerous. Okay, so they start casting Pillar of Fire. And we can see we're still alive. We'll keep an eye on this, right? Got a limp. He already had a limp. This guy has 10 fire resistance. Pillar of Fire absolutely can body this guy. So it's very fortunate that they are so far away, because the further away you are, the worse your accuracy is, basically, right? So even though they have eagle-eyed themselves, they have buffed their accuracy, right? Their precision's up to 17. They're so far away that it actually decreases their accuracy. I believe that's how it works. I could be talking mad noise, but I believe that's how it works. So. And now it just basically turns into, like, the Kangobs can't beat our Monkatsina. Can the shamans beat our Monkatsina? Ah, so now we've got boomers, which is gonna be a problem. Okay, we're probably about to die. Oh, except we regenerated because we actually have we have decent fire resistance, and all of those guys die to the explosion. That was probably the worst thing that they could have done, because it was possible that the boomers could have killed me, but if they had just come close and started casting things like Incinerate, or even just more Pillars of Fire, they absolutely would have been able to kill that Monkatsina. But as it is, he kills a couple the boomers kill more, and then they rout. Victory. We have a battle in Peace Haven. Up against not a whole lot, but we've got a crazy here, and we've got a couple of mothers here. Oh, nope, those mothers are fleeing, it looks like. We've got some breeders. The mothers are fleeing. Okay. We're able to get through the entirety of our buff cycle, and then... Who are we? No, we're not. A pillar of fire, very, very off the mark. Start stabbing everybody. And they've routed already. Did I fatigue out? I didn't fatigue out. It's weird. It's like I was trying to cast something, but... Yeah, see? Like, that's really strange. Alright. Jumping in the air, killing some more. Easy peasy. Cool. Alright, we kill another 36 in Peace Haven. Route them there. Kill. Okay, let's look at Blue Moss Forest. Blue Moss Forest, first up, we have the satyrs that are here, and this is gonna be basically nothing. Oh, that guy's on cast. I didn't realize that guy was on cast. So we win there. Right, we route them very easily. And then we get hit in Blue Moss Forest by... Fuck me. by everything that was in Blue Moss Forest. Cool. Alright, so here's the inherent problem, right? He has a very large mage contingent here, right? And he's got these Draken guards. They're fucking badasses. The problem here, though, is it's just these fucking fire Drakens. These guys are kind of insane. They have high HP, right? 45 HP. They come, if I'm, because I don't think they have any buffs yet. They come with 13 protection, which is pretty decent. They have very high strength. They are sacred. These guys, and just at that, that's kind of a pain in the ass, right? But if it was just that, it might be okay. But it's not just that. It's this fucking Drake Fire. And specifically, it's the fact that this Drake Fire is boosted by half of the strength that they have. So it actually hits pretty hard. And it's armor piercing. And it's area of effect, which I think area of effect doesn't play the same way with, like, precision. I don't know. I have to look that up. But basically, we don't have an answer to this. And I don't know that we have an answer to this until something like Army of Gold. You know? Like, what in the world do we do against this? Even if we do something like Fire Fend or something, that's only 5 fire resistance, right? The only thing that is going to do anything against this Drake Fire is high armor. But high armor isn't gonna matter enough against 17 armor piercing damage. So it's this really kind of like oof kind of situation. And then there's also these other varieties, right? The swamp Drakens. And they're interesting, but you know, they're nowhere near as big of a problem. They have a poison cloud, right? They have poison barbs. That's okay, right? That's fine. Well, I say that. You know, that is an issue. It's just not a massive issue, right? Especially not with something like Serpent's Blessing. But these fucking fire dragons, like, that's legitimately a problem. One of the things we would want to go for is something like mass protection, but mass protection incurs a fire malice, right? So you are -5 on fire resistance. So Drake, if we were to use something like mass protection right now, Drake Fire would rip us to shreds. Like, it would destroy us. I don't know. He has so many of them. I don't know what to do about it, honestly. Like, and it would be one thing if this was like every single one he had, but I've seen other locations. He's got more in other places. He probably got more in other places. Like this could be one of the smaller batches. So this is kind of an intense situation that I really don't know what to do about these things. I have some ideas. I have some concepts that I'm gonna probably try to work towards. But, anyways, continuing on. We're gonna get charged by this army, and go ahead and watch through this. We get through the majority of our buff cycle on our top one, but not on our bottom one. But the fire dragons get in range, and then they just start to kind of like flambe the entire area, and this ends up with, again, we've seen this, as the Kangobs filter in, they just get annihilated by the fire dragons. So there is that as a potential solution, right? To a big battle, is maybe if we can deal enough damage to the fire dragons, and the fire dragons can deal enough damage to themselves, then we could potentially win out in that type of scenario. But I don't know. I think that's kind of like crossing our fingers for a situation that is seems unlikely to happen, right? Our 2 Monkatzinas fight for a while, but basically they eventually get zapped by either combinations of poison or oppressive fire damage, basically. And then they're dead. So they killed 11 enemies, but 174 died. Jesus. So obviously these fire dragons are a double-edged sword, but, and this is a big but, it doesn't matter. Like, he can lose 150 Kangobs. He can lose 1,000 Kangobs. He's kind of like Ermor at this point, right? Except the damn things take a very small amount of supplies. But the only hope we have in this type of situation, I think, is to potentially route them via an HP route with the hope that we kill enough fire dragons. And these guys are animals and have base 12. This unit's busted, y'all. It is busted. Like, I'm just gonna say it. I'm not gonna bitch about it, but I'm gonna say this guy's busted. Very, very strong. So, our only hope in a big battle with these guys is to, like a big battle, army on their side, army on our side, is to hope that they kill off enough of their own side while we're killing some things that the mounting casualties HP route them, basically. That's gonna be difficult though, because he's got a shit ton of shamans here. He's got a very large mage corps. Now, let's finish up this situation, and then we'll talk about what our actual plans are for the turn. We have another pulse of this event, the Magic +3, that's actually working for us. I mean, it sucks to get things horror marked, but is what it is. Unexpected event in Assad. This fucking plague cult continues. We're working towards fixing that. I think this is in relation to the this whole thing, the Void cults, right? So we got minus population in Iron Caverns. We got losing tax and gaining unrest in the halls. We got losing tax and gaining unrest in Ukrema. And then we lost gold in the Nidian range and lost children, unrest, and magic in Peacehaven. Unexpected events. The Ezaldor, the cosmic egg, has transformed. I think this is his god. I think this is Boz's god. So we got to worry about that now. Units have been healed worldwide. And then we have a bunch of these event battles. So just flip through them real quick. Event battle in Assad. It's just a bunch of cultists. Not really a big deal. We're gonna raise some dead. We got a little bit of a province defense here. Enough to rout those cultists, and then they run right past the undead and kill the lead cultist. So, yay, it worked. We win in Assad. We get hit in Iron Caverns by fucking really by a horror who just blinks into our shit, and there's basically nothing that this group is going to be able to do. And not only is there nothing that this group's going to be able to do, this is going to be very hard for us to deal with without a decent amount of units. The reason being is sending in a thug against this guy is going to be incredibly difficult because he just blinks on people, right? He blinks and then he has an armor piercing, decently high damaging, very high attack value, 2 life drains, and 2 armor negating claws. So our whole armor trick isn't really going to work against them. Our whole repel trick isn't really going to work against them. And our whole vine shield trick isn't really going to work against them. So we can't really send a thug to kill this guy. We have to send actual units. So that's going to be a pain in the ass. That's in Iron Caverns. Then in Ukrema, we have a whole crap ton of angry peasants that rise up because of the false information fed to them by the void cults. And they just destroy our province defense. There's just too many of them. Just too many of them. Angry peasants. Yeah. That doesn't seem right. We killed... There's 12 total? That's... See, this is absolutely incorrect. This is not true. So I don't even know what to make of that. But, whatever. And then we have the halls. Oh, did I watch the wrong one? I probably watched the wrong one. That's why. Nope. Absolutely not, I did not. This is also not correct. There are way more than 12. Oh, they're fucking spawners. That's what it is. Okay. Yeah, this is a thing that I'm not used to in... I don't know if this is DE or if this is a Bozmos specific thing, but so Zealous Peasants or whatever, Riled Up Peasants or whatever. Nope, none of these count as spawners. $1d3 angry peasants, 1d3 angry peasants, nothing, 1d3 angry peasants, So this is weird, right? We can see that there's way more peasants in that battle. Some of those are because they're spawners, right? Like these guys spawn additional. They're basically a unit, which I think is a very cool effect, but it reads weird in the battle summaries. Anyways, we lose in the halls, and we lose in Crema, and we lose in Iron Caverns. Faldenberg is breached. Christiania is not breached. We patrol in a bunch of different places. And then suddenly, Kachada, the Serpent Elder, appears at the gates of our fortress. Serpent men are snake spirits from the underworld that take the form of humans when on the surface world. They can take the form of serpents when wounded and use weapons coated in powerful poison. Serpent men have thick scales below their skin that protect them from harm and can regenerate wounds. They are immune to poisons and can bite and spit deadly venom. The elders of the Serpent People tribes are powerful in the magic of nature and water and can assume serpent form at will. Cool. So we got this guy. The lag is real. It's so very real. So yeah, we got this guy. He's cool. He's basically a naiad, or is that? Yeah, right. He's got a forge bonus, which is pretty neat. Oh no, he's got a dwarven hammer. That's why he's got a forge bonus. Ignoring that, he's water 3, earth 3 is what he is. And he has built-in regeneration. We might be able to use him to climb up water a bit. We could put a... we've got rings of... or water bracelets, right? Boost him up to water 4. We've got... we can put a robe of the sea, is that what they're called on there? Boost them up to water 5. And then we could use them to, like, summon Troll Kings, you know? Troll Kings come in at... Do Troll Kings come in at water 3 or water 4? Remember. Dominions 5. Mod Inspector. Roll. Hold. Bless you. I think they come in. It's not Troll Kings, it's Sea Kings. Yeah, they come in at water 3, so that's not going to boost, but we could use him to summon, we could use him to summon, Sea Kings, doing Sea King's Court, and then we could, like, try to do a you know, a silly fucking Gemgen strat with, water. I don't know. I don't say, that, if this game was going to go on for potentially until someone wins, I could see that being useful. But we plan on, I think the plan is to stop at 100. So I don't really feel like that there's a point to that, you know? So anyways, this guy we might use him to boost up and do some water thing. Who knows? For now, he's doing random stuff. My god, lag. Okay, Raga has been permanently vanquished. Let's take a look at what is going on this turn. We've got a Kushari heading out to die in Black Alps. That's fine. We're sending Silver 2 up to Verdant Steppe to start doing auspexes up in our northern border. We are... moving more Crystal Sorceresses up to Pistina. And then we're doing a couple of little things here up in Pistina. We are moving onto Endless Plain. That is very likely to result in the death of Mong 6, but we're going to try it. We are attacking into the halls. We're moving Wuya 2 down to Takoregus. Very specifically, we're moving to Takoregus because we would like to utilize this laboratory. There is also the chance that Kangobia tries to pull out, right? Tries to move backwards and hold or recombine forces or something like that. They did just lose 170 something units here, which means that this force in Blue Moss Forest is actually closer to around 350 units. We're moving Mong 9 over to Ukrema. We can't do anything about Iron Caves right now. But as you can see, the big thing this turn is we're pulling off of Faldenberg. We are sending a scout over there. I don't know if that's actually a good idea. Just leave someone there. Very likely to try to knock me off, but we are pulling out, even though we have a larger army. I think we have a larger army. Not by much. 100 there, 230 there. Actually, we don't have a larger armor. We have comparably sized armies. He has a significantly larger mage corps than we do. Also, something that you probably didn't get to see because I didn't highlight it in that battle in Blue Moss Forest. He does have Serpent's Blessing up. So none of the tricks that we have, we're just behind, right? We're behind on all of our research. None of the tricks that we have are going to be good options. We know he is at least Evocation 8, right? We know he is at least Enchantment 7. I think we know from his globals. No, his globals are here. Yeah, he's got Mana from Heavens. We haven't seen Mass Regeneration, so there's that, right? But basically, I think if we go up, if we go into a head-to-head fight with him, I think we just lose. With what we have, anti-magic, couple of air elementals, wind guides, arrow fins, relief, Howl. He's got Howl, and he's got, aside from Howl, he's got Kangobian boomers besides, right? I do not think that this is going to be enough to best him. In the proper situation, like behind walls, where we can kind of like try to funnel his forces, perhaps, especially if, well, I say especially if, the part of the problem is I don't think there's a real answer for those fucking fire dragons outside of Army of Gold, right? Like, so I say that the alternative is, again, it's basically Army of Gold Light. It's Marble Warriors, right? It's the idea of, we can't do Army of Gold yet, but if we get into a siege battle and we can funnel him, or if we get into a situation where we have enough individuals prepped and ready to do this, which we don't where we're at right now, we could do something like Marble Warriors, which would, and this wouldn't make us immune by any stretch of the imagination to the fire dragons, but it would help, right? Giving ourselves natural protection 15 when they're doing 17 damage hits. Unfortunately, they're also armor piercing, so they're going to ignore half of our armor. So they're still going to hit us for a hefty chunk of damage, but that helps somewhat to mitigate the issues that we're facing. Basically, I think we take this fight, we lose very hard. I think there are the possibilities that if we kit out... So what else can we do? We're pulling back from Faldenberg, because if we take this fight with Kangobia here, we lose. What are our other options? Our other options are basically to try to kit out a Wuya in the right gear. And that gear is, it needs to have copious amounts of fire resistance. Okay. It needs to have high protection. It needs to have copious amounts of fucking lightning resistance or shock resistance, right? And it actually needs to have a fair amount of poison resistance because of the swamp dragons as well, right? Because they have those 10 poison barbs. If you, or the 10 poison damage barbs, if you get into a fight with them and you don't have enough poison resistance, they'll basically poison you down off of counters. So we're messing around with a little bit of gear. We're making some more firebrands. We are, and this is kind of the big thing, is we're making some rings of ensnaring flames. Rather than utilize our burning pearls, which have attack skill and fire resistance, we're going to look at utilizing some rings of ensnaring flames, which give plus 10 fire resistance. It also has the auto spell of ensnaring flames, which is just somewhat useful to again try to like keep people from killing us. This is going to give an individual who has our base setup, which is a dragon helmet, and we can't see it because he's the wrong person. Fuck. Back here. A firebrand, basically. Firebrands have 5 fire resistance as well. So this is going to put someone at 20 fire resistance. Which hopefully is going to be enough. Then we can utilize something like a copper plate to try to have enough shock resistance. We can use something like, just casting poison resistance on a Wuya to try to mitigate that way. Basically grasping at straws. We throw on Iron Skin. Iron Skin decreases our shock resistance by 5, which is a problem. We use a Scutato Volturnus to give ourselves additional shock resistance. We could even go so far as to ditch Stone Birds, although I think the repel chance is going to be somewhat important in a long-term fight. Having reinvigoration on to so you get catch the drift, right? We're trying to kit out some people so that we can try to toss some Wuyas at these armies. I think he's kind of prepared for that, though, and I don't know if he's going to attack me or if he's going to try to turn this into another stalemate. Either way, we're gonna prep ourselves and prepare for trying to achieve that concept. The other scenario is aside from a Wuya fighting, now that we have our Dominion up into some of these spots, if he brings the battle to us, we could, and this is risky, but we could use our god to try to achieve a victory against a very large group. Our god, however, he has some glaring weaknesses, and the worst offender is the lack of shock resistance. Now, we do still have things like storm spools, right? And we could do something like, and I hate to say this, but we could get rid of the stone bird and put a storm spool on him, give him some shock resistance, and then we could actually give him something like, I think I'm doing this up here. I'm doing this somewhere. A ring of regeneration, right? So with 10% regeneration built in, a ring of regeneration puts him up to 20, and then Gaia's blessing, I think is what that's called. Whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about, right? That puts him up to 30% regeneration. And fighting in Dominion, he's going to have a very high amount of HP, be very hard to deal with. We are also casting something called Glory of the Sun on him this turn. I'll try to show you what that actually is. So Glory of the Sun, again, I don't know if this is a DE spell or if this is a Bozmos spell, but we can check down here. So this is Glory of the Sun. It's 2 gems, but it's actually 2 gems times size. Okay, since we're size 6, this is going to be 12 gems. But it doesn't affect demons or undead. It doesn't affect inanimate beings, and it can't be used by plant beings. But it basically gives you permanent Awe 2, which is really cool. So why the fuck not go ahead and put that on our god? Costs us 12 fire gems. We put it on our god, and maybe we end up trying to use him in a fight where you know, we send him in with some shock resistance and maybe some fluffers, right? We got a moss body fluffer nearby, right? We could send him in with regeneration and some shock resistance. He could try to buff his own fire resistance. He's got okay poison resistance there. He's got berserking. So hopefully he would stick it through the entire fight. And then with fear and just crazy amount of regeneration, high protection, etc. You know what? Actually, even at that scenario, probably he wouldn't have to worry about fire resistance. His 11 built in would be fine. He'd just need to boost his protection more and go from there. But yeah, anyways, our god is another weapon that we're considering wielding like a bludgeoning stick against Kangobia. And honestly, like, I don't like the concept of doing this, but basically we're probably just gonna have to pump the brakes a bit. Continue to try to research as much as we can. We're not gonna hit Alteration 7 this turn, but we'll hit it the following turn, right? That will get us a couple of different things. Fog Warriors can be somewhat useful. Probably not super useful against Kangobia, though, I mean, we'll probably still utilize it, right? Frozen Warriors can be somewhat useful. Grants Cold Aura, gives cold resistance, gives natural protection. Again, another way to get higher natural protection. Marble Warriors, same type of situation. Can't really use them in tandem, but I could use them separately. And you know, Mass Protection I would want to use, or Gaia's Warding I would want to use, but if we do that, we guarantee ourselves dying by fire. So we can try to counteract that by immediately rushing past, or after we get Alt 7, just going up to Alt 8 and trying to utilize Warriors of Niflheim to give ourselves some built-in fire resistance, if for no other reason than to counter the mass protection debuff, right? And that might be helpful, but that's a long ways away. That's at least 5 turns. Depends on if we're moving armies or if we're able to build a bigger base of researchers, etc. Or the other scenario, right? Like if this magic boost ends, right? What the event that's been happening with the Magic 3, if that ends, then you know, our research is gonna drop by 500 or so, you know. So we're kind of in a weird situation with that. Hopefully. I don't want to stall out, right? If this is turn 61 and we're ending on turn 100, right? I want to have some climactic fights, but I also don't want to toss units away for no reason, right? I would prefer to be still standing towards the end of the game. We've got 1 throne. It is a level 3 throne, so people are probably going to try to come after it for that kind of like throne rush victory. And I'd like to, you know, I'd like to be around defending it. I don't think we're going to be around defending it if I toss away armies against Kangobia. And I honestly do. Like, I've thought about this. I haven't tested anything, but I've legitimately thought about this. I have no idea how we win in a fight against him with all those Drakons right now. Like, we send our Katsina warriors out, they're going to walk forward and then get mowed down by his fucking flamethrowers, basically. And we're not going to have a front line to defend us after just a few moments, right? And we could try, and we very well might try to combine forces down here, bring in, more of our heavy infantry or whatever, since they have some higher base protection. They could actually try to defend, maybe our own Great Bears, right? Something like that. They just got enough hit points with regeneration. Maybe they could do the job. But this army, I don't think can. So we're going to pull back, see what we can do, and go from there. That's it for the turn, I think. I'm not going to go over all of the different things that we're forging this turn. Most of it's relatively simple. The only kind of like interesting things that we're doing, I say this, is the Rings of Ensnaring Flames. And then we're doing a Helmet of Heroes so that we have more inspirational stuff. We're doing a Ring of Regeneration. I think the only other kind of like actually interesting thing that we're doing is with our new Serpent Elder, we're doing a Slime Shield. And that's just because it makes use of water, and we have a shit ton of water right now. So I'm just trying to find more ways to utilize that water, you know? And I think that's probably about it. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye, everybody.